Hi guys, this is Emily from Novell Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my home library, books I've read. Hi guys, so I'm going to be doing my shelf obviously as I would have told you in the start of the video. I'm going to be focusing on the books read. So I'm going to be going shelf to shelf, but I don't know how I'm going to put it together because my wrist is killing me at the time of filming. On this bookshelf, I've obviously read all of Charlie's books, which are down there. I've got the Night Before Christmas by that Adam Kay book. I've not read the Ruth Rendell one. I've read The Paris Library by Janet Skilton Charles. That is a good historical fiction book. I really enjoyed that. But that was one that I got sent by Tandem. Obviously read Young Mungo, liked it but didn't love it. Charlie's books are amazing. Charles Heathcote book you've got to get. The Book in Time was a Love Book Tours book, which I loved. The Four Winds, you know, is one of my favourite books ever. Longbourn I enjoyed. I don't know if I'm going to keep the Lollipop Shoes and Chocolat because as much as I enjoyed that, I'm torn on that one. I think it's because I liked Chocolat. I like the Lollipop Shoes more than I like Chocolat, but that's good. Still Life I loved. Hamnet I loved. Shuggie Bain I can't wait to reread, but I know it will break my heart. Great Circle was a book that I loved. It was one of my favourite books last year. Then we've got Yours Cheerfully by AJ Pearce. I'm going to be buying her newest book when that comes out next week. And I've got the series, but I've got the bloody one of them in hardback and the other in paperback, which is highly annoying. Little Wing by Freya North. I loved. Another Tandem book, but absolutely loved it. Malibu Rising. Oh my God, that was so good. Miss England, amazing. The Foundling, amazing. I try and keep my authors' books together, but the problem is with Taylor Jenkins Reid, where I've got some hardback and some paperback, it's harder to put in order. Then I've got The Binding and the Betrayals by Bridget Collins. The Binding I loved, The Betrayals I hated, but I've kept it because it's a pretty book. That makes no sense. So now I'm going on to the second shelf, and I keep them the way they look together. So obviously I've got Hard Times, which I actually enjoyed a lot more than I thought I would. Mary Barton I loved. The Golden Treasury is my oldest book, which I loved. Midsummer's Night's Dream is good. I haven't read the Jules Verne, The Centre of the Universe, but I've read the Christmas book. Then I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to be careful. I've read all the Little Women books and those ones. Orley Farm, all of that side I've read. The Little Women books I'm definitely going to read at some point. And I've got my little Owlie. He's so cute. And I've got all that Anthony Trollope series, which I read last year and loved it. I haven't read Dr. Walter's School, but I think I'm going to read that for Victober. I've got my Dickens books, which I've read all those front ones. And I think Nicholas Nickleby is my favourite out of those. Not read any of those apart from Oliver Twist and Tale of Two Titties. I bought a new copy of Great Expectations. So although I've read it, I've got a lovely, pretty copy that I want to read. Dombey and Son I'm going to be reading this year. So this set here is harder to focus on. I think I've read most of the Anthony Trollope books, but I've got a new copy of The Madding Crowd. I've not read A Pair of Blue Eyes by Thomas Hardy, and I've not read down here the Wilkie Collins No Name. The books behind this are like I'm trying to see if I can get it easy. They're my random books. So I've got, oh sorry, you can see my pictures of the kids' pictures. I'm not going to show too much, but I've got not pretty copies. This is where my copies don't match. So I'm not going to show you them, but most of them are read. Then I've got my own copy of Lorna Doone, which isn't read because I got it from one of the friends I used to work with. And I've got my pretty copies, you can see, of that's Pride and Prejudice. I've not read that copy yet. I'm going to save that for Jane Austen July, which I definitely will be reading. And I've got a nice copy of The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, which I've not read. Whereas I've read obviously Wuthering Heights in that edition, David Copperfield, which I love. David Copperfield is my favourite Dickens, and I think I've read all of these copies. So I've got 2 different copies of Wuthering Heights, and I've read them both because I just love them both. And I don't think I've read the nice copy of Silas Marner because I loved it, but I didn't read that copy. Then I've got some lovely pretty books down here. I've only read Wives and Daughters. The Count of Monte Cristo I want to read, but I have not read because it scares the bejeebers out of me, the size of it. And I know that Alice has read it. Obviously, the Mary Elizabeth Brown and Lady Audley's Secret I loved. Emma. And then you've got to think most of the ones that I've read are up here. I've not read some of the smaller books, but I've read Treasure Island, but I didn't love it like I wanted to. Life of Charlotte Bronte, bloody loved. Macbeth I've not read yet. The Law and the Lady by Wilkie Collins I've not read, and I can't wait to read that. Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde I want to read, but I've not read it. The Mill on the Floss I actually did enjoy, but no, I know not everyone has. So then we go on to this. Is my, again, my copies do not match, so ignore that. Read the Colour Purple, but I've now been told that Alice Walker's a TERF, so I'm going to be a bit, I'm not going to be rushing to reading The Possession of the Secrets of Joy. I'm not going to rush to that. I think I've read, I can't remember if I've read The House of Mirth. I don't think I have. Oh yeah, I have. I don't know. That's why my numbers might be rough, because I can't remember all of them. When I'm having a bit of a bad pain day. I've not read any of those apart from Oscar Wilde, and I've not read Gone with the Wind. I want to read that, and Sherlock Holmes. I've only read those. These are all my Agatha Christie's that are matched now, and I've only read Three Little Pigs, and I've read Jamaica Inn, and I've read Frenchman's Creek, and I've read the Bronte poems, but I've not read that lovely copy of Rebecca because I've bought a brand new copy, and I've read Anna Karenina and loved it. Going to be reading 1984 soon, and then on to my big shelf here. So I've read The Lady of the Rivers. I've read obviously that Alison Weir book, which I'll be doing my video for that with my live, which should have gone live. Read Dark Tides, but I've not read Dawnlands yet. I've not read all of those. And I've read Tidelands, but obviously not read those other two because they're new ones. I've only read the first in the Bridgerton books yet, but I can't wait to read the rest. I need to read them before the next series comes out. Read Cecily. Read obviously the Wolf Hall trilogy. I read that last year. Not read any of those. The other books behind that are mainly the 6 Tudor Queens books, which I've obviously read. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm trying to... Okay, so most of the Philippa Gregory books, but I've not read that series because it's a new series. And I've got a couple down there that I've not read. Queen of the North. I need to get to these books. These Anne of Bryan ones are so big, and I need to get to them, but they scare me because they're so big. And then down here is my wartime books. And again, I've read the series. So I've read the Rosie Henry series, Anton de Beck series. A lot of these are on my TBR shelf. A lot of these are unread. There's only one or two. There's a series behind there, the Oxroom Girls series, which I've read last year. But I don't really want to show them off. That's another series that I've read, the Oxroom Girl. That's another series I've read. What's the series is that one? I'm trying to think. Another series that behind there. And then obviously I've got all of the Elaine Everest books, which I blooming love. She's one of my favourite authors. And they're all down there. So now I'm going to take you down with me, downstairs, because I'm trying to do it in one clip. I'm trying to protect my hands. So you can see my other shelves. So now this top shelf here is again mainly unread. So on this top shelf here, the only books that I've got that are read is Saving Missy. And on this side, it's Song of Achilles and the Saturday Night Sauvignon Blanc. All of the ones that are on this shelf that I've kept that are bloody amazing. They're all favourites. Final Offer over there. Paper Palace. Now this, on this side, is mainly read up behind here. I'm trying to think how I don't want to move them. So I've got obviously all the Kristin Hannah books, and I've got the Brown Girl series books, which are just behind there, and some other ones. But again, I don't want to kill my hands. So on this way, I've read obviously the Book Club, and I've read the Before the Coffee Gets Cold books, and there I think that's it. And then I've got some Auschwitz books underneath, and the Brontes. There are no books that I've read on this side. Nope, I'm just thinking, yeah, there's no actual books that I've read. So obviously I've got my Seven Sisters books that I've read the first 3. I've got to read all the rest of them, which I can't bloody wait to read, seriously. Mum's just read the Cloud Atlas, and loved it. So yeah, that's all that read. So now the middle grade shelf, I've actually read pretty much most of them actually. So I've read all of these, Anne of Green Gables. The only one I've not read on that shelf is that one, The Wishing Chair. Read the Amari and the Knight Brothers, but I've not read these 3. I've read the 2 Abilene Joan books. I need to get the 3rd one. I've read that one, which I got sent by Tandem as well. That one I can't wait to read. I'm reading that this year. All of those bar October. Now behind this are books, it would kill me. So that's like the Mallory Towers books, the Emily of New Moon books. But it's really hard to carry, and I've got a load of classics behind there. I just don't want to. So I've got some Mary Poppins books there that I've not read, but again, most of these are like little classics. So actually this shelf is mainly read, but there's a few unread. So the only unread ones on this are those 2, which are newly bought. That one I've been given, those 2, The Borrowers, and obviously October over there. They're the only ones that I've read. Now we've got my YA shelf, which has grown. I may need to move this. The YA shelf may need to go on the bottom, and the thrillers and non-fiction may need to go up. Let me know if you think I should move it. So obviously on this shelf, I've only read A Quiet Kind of Thunder, which is a flipping brilliant book with disability rep. The Bridget Kemner ones, Call It What You Want, and Letters from Home, which are part of the same series. They're read, and they're 5 stars all the way. The Austen Girls I read. Victoria by Lucy Worsley I want to read, because I know that the lovely Jem from Gemma Books got it for me. And then obviously I've got Wicked that I'm going to try and get to this month to try a chapter, because Charlie from Charles Heathcote doesn't think I'm going to like it. So on this shelf, these 3 are all 5 stars and all bloody amazing. Black Flamingo, Confessions of a Village, Good Girl, and Felix Ever After. These are ones I'm keeping because I think that Mia will need to read them at some point. And then I've got a lot of the fairy tale retelling. So these are like The Beast Within. You can't really see it because it's dark, but I've got a lot of these retellings. Let me try and see. I think the only ones I think I've read, oh God, no, sorry about this, guys, is As Old as Time, and I think I've read Once Upon a Dream. I think I've read those ones, but I've read some of them, but not all of them, and I really want to read them. I'm kind of collecting. And I've got another Beast one, so Beauty and the Beast. Basically, you can tell Beauty and the Beast retellings are like my absolute flipping favourite. I love them more than anything. And I'm going to have to put these away afterwards because it's hurting my hands. So, again, most of the ones on this side are red. So actually I'm going to have to do this as I'm putting it here, because apparently my wrist does not like me, but trying to put the books away is harder than I thought it was going to be, so you have to excuse me while I pause a little bit. Right, there you go. So to get to those ones, so on this shelf I've only read the Page 2 and 3. These are Page 2's only YA books. They're all the Jessie Jefferson series. I read that, absolutely bloody loved it. Can't describe to you how much I've loved it. These are the other Apollo ones. I've got obviously the Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which I read, and I can't describe how much I loved it, but the other 2 are new, so you're getting a sneaky peek. See all of those, but we were going to do a read along with this series, but I will now do it next year because I've just not got the energy. We've just, both of us, me and Jem, are both overloaded. All of Bridget Kemner's adult book, all of her fantasy books. She's got a new one coming out in January, which I know I'm going to get. You all know that this Curse the Dark and Lonely trilogy is my favourite ever. This series, she's got a new one coming out in January. Don't know what she's doing with the next one in this series, but I can't describe. They're like my favourite fantasies ever. I literally love them. I think it, and then we've obviously got Heartless, Even Man, and then we've got Cinder and Scarlet. I want my own copies because I've read the whole series that were Charlie's copy, and I've read Scarlet on this, Cinder on this one. No, I've read Scarlet. I need to read Cinder, one of them. Can't bloody remember. They've got the whole Noughts and Crosses series down there, which, oh my God, they are dystopic. And I never thought I'd like dystopic, but I just so love them. I can't describe to you how much I love them. These Trial of Apollo books, I love. I've not started these new series, so that's my plan, is to start them when I've got a few more of them. Like, God knows where I'm going to put them. So now down to my non-fiction. I've read, obviously, Dear NHS. I got that when COVID was happening. And the Chrissy Watson one, The Courage to Care, which is, again, is COVID-based. So I'm going to tackle those at some point. I've got the Three Sisters. I know the Three Sisters and the Tattooist of Auschwitz are fiction, but they kind of, because they're part fiction and part non-fiction, I've kept them. And then I don't have many. I've got a couple of like the Prison Doctor books, Queen Matchmaker, Bookworm down there. But I don't own very many non-fiction that I keep. Like, I've got all the Kathy Glass books, but I'm not going to keep them because I read them and then I don't keep them because I don't really find that they're going to be ones I'm going to want to reread because they're so hard hitting. Oh, sorry about this. Then on the thriller side, again, I don't keep very many. So you can see more of the Kathy Glass ones. I've kept the Dorothy Coomson, all My Lies Are True. I think that's the one. Let me just see. Put in my thrillers. I've kept there, and All My Lies Are True and Turn of the Key. I've kept those thrillers because they're literally some of my favourites. They are probably my favourite thrillers. And I'm trying to think if I can show you, sorry. And I think I've kept Sleep by C.L. Taylor, because that petrified the crap out of me, but I loved it. And I See You by Claire Mackintosh, which I loved. So that's my thrillers. So now we're going to go over to my contemporary. I'm not going to do this in order because I can't. So this is generally where I keep my hardbacks that are contemporary hardbacks. As you saw, my hardbacks that are non-fiction, that are historical fiction, are kept upstairs. But I've got We Get Through the Night, The Boy, the Mole and the Fox, which I loved. These are the ones that are read. All of these are read. Careless, I bloody loved. I bought the hard copy, even though I could have bought the paperback. But that's because it's beautiful. The No Show, The Switch, The Road Trip. I've got her newest book is coming out. Again, apart from The Flat Share, I own all her Beth O'Leary books in hardback. And I'm going to be getting her newest one in hardback. Postscript by Cecilia Ahern. I've got that in hardback. I've got the Eve of Illusion. I bought that at COVID time. And the third one's just never going to come out, it feels like. Burial Rites, I've got that I love. The Vanished Bride, I've got. Raw by Cecilia Ahern. And the only one I've not read is that. But they were all amazing. Up here, I've obviously got the 2 Jenny Colgan books. So what I'm going to do, and that I've read, and they were both amazing. Loved them. I've got these 2 Sophie Cousin books, which I loved. So I'm going to have to be careful. So obviously we've got the Why Mummy series. They were all read, and they were all 5 stars. All of this on this side is read. So I've got My Extraordinary Life, The Heart Principle, The Library, the Jenny Colgan books. Girl, Woman, Other. I've not read that one because I listened to it on an audiobook, so I want to actually read that. And I'm just trying to think how I'm going to do this without making books fall on my head. We don't want my books falling on my head. The Other Woman by Kathy Kelly, and The Summer That Changed Us by Kathy Bramley. Oh, this is just a nightmare. I said to Charlie that I was going to film, when I filmed this, I was going to be really gentle with myself and not show you. So there are books I'm getting rid of. Shouldn't really have showed you that, should I? Anyway, I'm going to do this way. I'm going to do it. The only books on this shelf. See, I'm already collecting the Christmas books because I thought that would be sensible. I'm going to put those away in a bit. Again, on this shelf, they are all red. So all of these on this pile are red. The ones that are red are the ones that are behind, and the ones that aren't red are the ones that are in front. The Laura Jane Williams, I've got all 3 of them, and then I've stopped buying her books, and I don't know why. I've got one Ali McNamara that I've kept. I haven't really kept very many, and I haven't kept any more Leanne Moriarty other than 3 Wishes. That was a book that Alice from Alice's Giant Bookshelf gave me, and loved it. Veronica Henry's The Impulse Purchase I loved. Those ones I loved. Right, I'm just going to try and put them back. Right. I need to keep, like, on this side, although I've read The Midnight Library, I haven't kept that copy of it. I listened to it on audiobook. I didn't have my own copy, so that's why that's unread technically. And again, on this side, these are Christmas books that are saved for Christmas. I've got The Love on the Brain, which I loved, the Merrily Ever After, The Love Hypothesis, which I think I loved more than Love on the Brain, and then 1,000 Stars, and obviously The Flat Share. Who could not love The Flat Share? It's amazing. Now I'm going to do this. They're not going to be exactly the way they were because my wrist is killing me. So obviously on this shelf, most of this shelf is red. Most of this shelf is red. So I've got all my Page Toon books here. I'm going to be doing a video ranking my Page Toon at some point. So there's a couple of Christmas books that are hidden there, but all of the Page Toon books are there. I can't get them down because it's going to kill my wrist. Oh, right, okay. I can't do that. I need to tidy these up because these are not colouring. They're not in colour order, and you know me with colour order. I need to get that. So I've got, these are red. These are unread, these books. But I've got obviously more Page Toon there. And then all the Jenny Colgan books. I've literally, I don't think, apart from Meet Me at Cupcake Cafe, I've read all of Jenny Colgan's books. Those are all unread. Oh, right. So I'm not going to keep showing you because otherwise it's going to literally kill my wrist. Let's see if I can... Oh, sorry, that was a bit of quick movement. More Jenny Colgan. All of them are read. Like I said, apart from the Cupcake Cafe series, which I've still got to read, they are all read. I think I'm going to read the Cupcake Cafe trilogy. It's a duology, I think. I'm going to read that this Christmas. I'm going to start reading it at the end of the year. Oh, sorry about the great view here, because I'm trying not to fall down the stairs. On this bookshelf, on this side, they're all unread apart from... Yeah, they're all unread. Then I've got the authors that I'm keeping. So my Heidi Swains are all read. And then one down there is Ellie McNamara. I've not read that. All of them, again, I think I'm going to have to rate that at some point, the Heidi Swain books. Well, there's some more Heidi Swain that I've read all of here. I've kept all Heidi Swain's Christmas books together, and they're non-Christmas ones up there. Well, I think there's one Christmas one up there. And again, we've got Isabel Broom, Wildflower Bay, Kathy Kelly, Katie Ford. All of these on this side are not read, apart from A Patchwork Family by Kathy Brownlee, which you know is one of my favourite books ever. And all of those aren't read. So, that's my bookshelf tour. I'm now going to go and talk to you about my bookish stats and see what you think. Bye-bye. So, you've seen my book tour. I'm doing this in an odd order. You've seen the books that I've read. You've seen the whole tour, and I've focused mainly on the books that I've read. And what do you think? So do you want the stats now? So, I counted them up this first thing this morning. On bookshelf number 1, which is the first bookshelf you saw the tour of in my bedroom, I have 146 books that I've read. Bookshelf number 2, which is the YA middle grade, that random shelf, there is 140 books that I've read. And on my contemporary shelf tour, there is only 87 books that I've read. I think that's because I don't keep very many contemporaries. I keep more classics, and the middle grade bookshelf is that out of all my bookshelves, I've kept the most middle grade and YA are the ones that I've kept the most. And obviously my historical fiction and classics are more sort of spread out. But like I said, the contemporaries I've read the least. So here's the total number of stats. I have read, this is roughly, by the way, because it's with the book tours and the way I buy books randomly, excuse me. Roughly, I own 377 books that are read. Roughly, I own 373 books unread. So I'm pretty much bang on equal my read and my unread books. And the reason I did this book tour today is, for starters, I changed my mind up, couldn't decide what books I wanted to do. But for my Spoonies Readathon and for May Mental Health, I wanted to focus on my library. Now, I'm not going to go and make this very long, because this is going to be a long video with the tour and everything. But I beat myself up for a long time at the fact that I had so many books on my bookshelf tour. You know, in total, I own 750 books roughly. That's a lot of books. But for me, my books are my saviour. Like you saw in my Spoonies video, like you've seen in my TBRs. When I'm having a rough time, I like to read, I like to look at my books, I like to move my bookshelves around, I like to have fun with my books, I like to look at my pretty books. And I am so flipping lucky to own this many books. I'm lucky that Chris has let me buy them. I love the fact that I've got different shelves for different genres. I've got so much classics, historical fiction in the bookshelf number 1. I've got middle grade, I've got YA, I've got fantasy, I've got bloody non-fiction, I've even got some thrillers. And then I've got my lovely contemporaries. So no matter what mood I'm in, I've always got a book on bookshelf on there. You didn't see my TBR trolley because I don't really want to show that off, because I've had to keep playing around with that. But apart from the trolley, you've seen what I own. You've seen how lucky I am that I've got so many books. Even on my TBR trolley, I always keep a mixture of genres, so that no matter what mood I'm in, I've got a book to fit my mood, a book to suit it. If I want to DNF, I DNF nowadays. I don't beat myself up about it. But I am so lucky that I can do this, that I can have a library. I don't have to go to the library, I've got my own library, and I am proud of my library. I thought it was wrong I own so many books, but something that Ange and Jack and a few of my other book waffle girls have said is that I am not a book, like just a reader. I'm a collector. I collect books. I collect pretty books to read, to look at, to make me happy. Let's celebrate our libraries. Let's celebrate our unread books as well as our read books. Let's enjoy what we have. Let's keep books if we want to read them, and not feel guilty if we don't. Let's not worry if we DNF. Let's enjoy our libraries. And mental health is so important. And if we are on BookTube, if we are readers, we enjoy books. So let's celebrate our books. Let's celebrate what makes us happy. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel and not subscribed yet, ring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.